So here's saying goodbye to about 8 years of growth. The last time I cut my hair, I had been kind of obsessive about it and hadn't cut it for, I don't know, almost 9 years or 10 years. I wouldn't let anybody trim it. I was very controlling about it. And the time I cut it before that, well, let me start at the beginning. I was just telling somebody this. When I was 14, I realized that my father and I think even my older brother was going bald already, but my father was balding and his father was balding, and I just felt like I'm gonna go bald, so I may as well grow my hair out to enjoy it. And yeah, I was 14 years old. I had long hair, and part of it was kind of rock music. Like, I listened to some rock music. I know a lot of people. I remember people saying I looked like Trent Reznor a lot. There were definitely some long hair musicians that inspired that. But I also remember reading about like the French aristocracy and how they all had long hair, and there was this attractive idea of just kind of being attached to this older way of being. And it was kind of grungy. I think I was also inspired by Kurt Cobain and those folk. Anyway, yeah, a lot of it had to do with music. And I had long hair until like from 14 to 16, no, 17. Yeah. And I shaved my head when I was 17, right before going to go live in England. It wasn't a total shaved head. A girl gave me a pompadour. And from 17 to 18, I lived in England and kept my hair styled, I would say. Not super short, but styled. But it was also the first year I grew a beard, mainly because I got drunk and slept for 3 days from alcohol poisoning. When I woke up, I had a beard, so I just let myself keep a beard for a while. And when I came back to America, I I think I let my hair grow for a while, but somewhere. Oh, I remember I went to New York and I got some haircuts there. I certainly did not have a regular beard at that point, and I was trying to learn about being gay and out, and was very frustrated with gay culture. And I know that I shaved my head like shortly after I got back from New York because I was frustrated and stuck in Indiana. So I had like a total shaved head. I really like the feeling of having a shaved head, the stubble and the simplicity of it. There's a nice sensation of being able to touch the whole scalp in a way that you can't really with long hair. And the fact that you can get it wet anytime you take a shower or jump in the water or whatever. There's no sensation of like, oh, now I'm going to have a damp head for 4 hours, which is sometimes how long it takes long hair to dry. So I really like having a shaved head, but it's also this feeling of simplifying, letting everything go. And I know that I shaved when I came back from New York when I was 19, just 'cause I was so frustrated with being stuck in Indiana. But then I went out west to Arizona, and I know that's where I really got into bear culture. I think I first like met bear culture on the internet when I was 16 something. Maybe even 15. No, couldn't have been 15. And no, I wasn't really introduced to bear culture on the internet until I was 18. So okay, it was bear culture on the internet. And I met a bear dude, in New York when I was 19, so I guess that was kind of a bear introduction. But when I lived in Tucson, Arizona, I went to a bear bar. It was the first time I really understood like gay bear culture, and gay culture was annoying me so much that I just decided bears were who I wanted to be with. They just seemed so relaxed and comfortable and friendly. So I was like, I'm going to grow my beard out. But I had the understanding for a few years that you should keep a short beard because everyone does, and that's what you should do. Keep a short beard. I guess I'll get into how that changed in a little bit. But I know that when I lived in Tucson, I had this beard, and my young friends that were all mostly straight were annoyed that they couldn't see my face. And I said, "Oh, this is my face." And they're like, "We want to see your face." And I think this was like still when I was 19. I said, "Well, if you want to shave my beard, you have to shave the rest of my body first." So we were doing a lot of drugs in those days. I think it might have just been alcohol and marijuana, but who knows? We all were very drunk, and they decided to have a shaving party, and they all shaved my entire body so they could shave my face. And that was the first time I'd ever kind of done that type of thing. And in those years of moving out west and doing drugs and yoga and meditation, because at 19 I was also, or 18, I was introduced to yoga and transcendental meditation. So in living out west, I got much more in touch with nature, or my idea of nature, of just being out in wild desert and forest and hot springs and mountains. So there was this, as I had grown my beard out as a way of siding with bears, which again, this is not at all how I view bear culture now, but as I viewed bear culture at that time, I thought mainstream gay culture was kind of identifying with a Ken doll, this weird artificial version of man. And I thought bears were identifying with nature, with some great beast. And I was like, I like that idea. I want to be a part of that. So that was part of my fetish, my fantasy, my delusion, and I grew my beard and long hair with this idea of like, I want to be a part of nature, and this is what humans would look like if they were a part of nature, if they just stopped trimming and fiddling. But I still kind of kept my beard trimmed. And when I reached 23, for my 23rd birthday, in America, we're so into appropriation. My 23rd birthday, we're so into appropriation. I was so into appropriation. So, in spirituality and meaning, trying to make meaning out of this wonderful freedom we have where nobody knows who they are, where they come from. We grapple. I had read something about some tribe in Africa that did a coming of age ritual where they would shave all the hair off the body and make like a wig out of it. And the wig was kind of like a representation of your youth, and shaving everything off was your stepping into manhood. So when I was 23, I did a full body shave again, and it was with this idea of putting away my childish things and becoming a man. I really, really, really wanted to grow up and get over my youthful suffering. It didn't work, but it was a nice try. But I remember like specifically that long hair and beard. I gave some to a fire and buried some in the dirt and put some in a river and took some to the top of a mountain and let it blow away in the wind. I was very much trying to get meaning out of everything. It was that birthday that I had also learned about astrology and started studying astrology when I was 21 or 22. I was really getting into astrology. No, I was like 20. I was really, really introduced to astrology and started studying it at 21, I guess. And there's this thing called secondary progressions that as you age, your natal chart transforms by about 1 solar degree for every year you're alive. And when I was turning 23 was when the sun would have moved into Cancer. So, when you say I am a Gemini because I'm born June 1st, like that means a whole bunch of things if depending on how you extrapolate meaning out of astrology. But I just like the idea of really getting into my emotions. Gemini is all about thinking and about ideas. So on my 23rd birthday, I would have moved into 0 degrees Cancer. And I just really liked the idea of like, okay, I'll become a caring person who can feel instead of just think about my feelings. And of course, I've learned since then that secondary progressions kind of work in a way that you're becoming you're beginning the becoming of understanding what that sign expresses and embodies. But still, so I did this ritual on my 23rd birthday at a Native American ritual in Oregon, a Native American ritual about making peace with disparate energies. So it was all ritualistic. And I remember I went into this with like long hair, and then at the ritual on my 23rd birthday, I shaved everything. And a friend took some pictures of it. I guess I could have put that in this video, but that's okay. That's not what this video is about. But I'm giving the background. And when it came time, and I don't know, I think as my hair was growing back in, when I was 24, I trimmed my beard. And then shortly after that, because again, I had this idea that I should keep my beard short when I'm young so people can see my youthful face. Oh, you're so handsome. And that I would grow my beard long when I was an old man. And I imagined some like hermit at a cave with a long beard. And I was like, long beards are for old men and short beards are for young men. There's so many things we believe in the world that we just think is true without understanding why and without questioning. And that was just one of the beliefs I had. And shortly after I trimmed my beard on my 24th birthday in Germany, I went to this rainbow gathering in the mountains of Italy. And there were a bunch of hippie boys from Israel there. And again, because Jewish culture has so much beard culture in it, a lot of, when you get into the ultra Orthodox Jewish, also known as Hasidim, there's different types of Orthodox, but like the Hasidim, a big part of their culture, like the Amish, is to not cut your beard. Although the Amish shave their mustaches for weird reasons, but the Jewish folk, shave their head, leave their side locks, their payots, and let their beards grow. And I guess because that's such a part of Jewish culture in Jewish communities, even people who aren't Orthodox see that. And I don't know, I think that that's a big reason why the hipster beard became such a thing, as hipsters, style is so formed by movies and modeling and bands, whatever. These images are tend to be created in cities, and so we have New York and L.A. in this country, and there's lots of Jews in both New York and L.A. Much more in New York, but like the hotbed of Williamsburg was like this hipster thing because it's really easy. It was at one point very easy to get in Manhattan and yet be very cheap. And half of that whole neighborhood was filled with Hasidic Jews. So I really felt like that ironic hipster thing. They were like, and look, there's all these Orthodox Jews with these big beards. Anyway, these Israeli boys in the mountains, I feel, were inspired by that same thing, that they themselves were not Orthodox, but they were like long-haired and long-bearded. And instead of being like pretty bearded, like I so often encountered in the young American hippie travelers, these Israeli boys had these huge beards. And I'm like, they're boys and they have huge beards. And even boys can have beautiful, huge beards. And this was before I'd seen, I don't know, I think this is probably before the hipster long beard thing had started. This was 2002. Right. So I don't know about the history of long beards and hipster culture in America, but this was 2002. I was inspired by Israeli boys to never cut my beard again. And as I was saying, I mean, I'm not realizing the Orthodox connection there, but as I was saying that in the long hair I had from the age of 24 to 20 or to 33, I had been very precious about it, not letting anybody cut it and being very controlling. So when I was turning 33, I decided I was going to cut my hair again. And at 33, it wasn't about the secondary progression as much as I was depressed, let's say. I was unhappy living in New York City. And there was this. I when I'm around people who don't know me, so let's say when you're in a social environment where there's lots of humans who don't know you, but they feel like commenting on you, which is something that happens in New York a lot. You're around tons of people who don't know you, and they say things like, "Hey, nice shirt. Oh, I like your beard. Oh, hey, Jesus. Hey, Jesus. Hey, caveman. Hey, Jesus." People call me Jesus all the time. The first time I ever got paid for a modeling gig, it was playing Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. At this point, with the gray hair, I don't get called Jesus as much as more Moses, or I just don't get called Jesus as much. Still occasionally, but that's fine. When I was turning 33, I thought, I think I'm going to cut my hair again. I think it's been 10 years, and it'll be nice to shave my head again because I'm really tired of this Jesus shit, and I don't want to be called Jesus during my Jesus year. There was some, connection to that. And I remember, part of shaving my head in 2000, or when I trimmed my beard back in 2004, that was the Bin Laden time. And I did reflect on, it was annoying being called Bin Laden all the time. And I liked being called Jesus better, because even though Jesus annoyed me, because I grew up Catholic and Christianity has a lot of baggage when you're gay, etc., or human. But I thought being called Jesus, a universal symbol of love, even though he's often used for hatred, he is a universal symbol of love, felt much better than being called Bin Laden, which at that time was being used as a universal symbol of hate. I wonder how the past will, or how the future will change his story, if his story ever gets told again. Regardless, that was part of the trimming of the beard. But these, being around these Israeli boys really inspired me to stop cutting my beard, let my beard get long. So from 24 to 33 was the first time I had like a really long beard. And that being said, a lot of people, wondered why it wasn't longer, why my hair wasn't longer. And there's this thing called terminal length, where your hair will just grow as long as it grows. And something about everybody's different. It just gets to a length, both your beard and your hair, and it just stops growing. So my terminal length is not super long. It doesn't get down to my butt. My beard doesn't get down to my belly. It just goes where it goes. So for 33, I had this idea of trimming my hair a little bit every week for 33 weeks. Foolishly not understanding that the more you cut it, the faster it grows. So as I was cutting it, it just wasn't getting short enough, fast enough. But I also had this fantasy of playing different characters, of cutting my hair in different styles. I was friends at the time with a hairstylist, so I thought this would be super fun. But then my best friend was diagnosed with cancer and was given 3 months to live. So I was like, I don't have the emotional space to play these identity games, and help him die. Turns out it took him 5 years to die, but I went out to California. I was with him, and so I wouldn't have had the same audience or support or whatever. So I ended up just trimming my hair myself, and I did have a couple different hairstyles. It was fun, but I didn't actually try different characters, different identity games, which I had planned to do. But a lot of it was like letting go of the identity attachment I had to my long hair. But it was really, I remember it being so hard. I did not want to cut off my hair, but I just really wanted to let go of some of these identity attachments and not be called Jesus for my Jesus year. Ended up being extra depressing, and I've always had a bit of a Samson complex as well, so I felt like a lost, depowered. It was not happy for me. But, it was fun. And I had vowed to keep my hair short for 2 years because I was being in the city, and I was just like, what if I just look like a city person? And I had a fantasy at that time to like meet somebody who made clothes and have them make clothes for me. And I ended up meeting Kos, who made clothes. That was, somebody introduced me to him for completely other reasons. But, sometimes you get your fantasies. And although I had fantasized someone who would make me like 18th century clothes, he made me crazy, weird art clothes, which was wonderful and was a great thing to do during my short hair periods the last time. And I was modeling, and so as my hair grew back out, I bleached it because I wanted to keep it short for 2 years. And I was like, oh, it's just getting long because I don't like cutting my hair all the time. So a friend bleached it for me, so I got to be blonde. But then after I shaved off the blonde, which was the end of my 2 years of short hair, I just let it grow again. And for a little while, I would get it trimmed regularly, but it charged me tons of money for getting this like 200. No, so not 200, like $100 or $125 to get my hair cut as it grew out. So I stopped doing that and just got back into letting it grow long. And I kind of like when the hair gets long and the ends get all split and bleached, and the ends of my hair, were much lighter from all the sun and all the splitting. Anyway, so I wasn't sure if I was going to cut my hair again when I turned 43. There was a part of me that thought, well, it's kind of arbitrary, 10-year cycles, who cares? But I do like the idea of letting go of my hair. As a letting go of hair thing, as an identity thing, like, I definitely am so very identified by long hair and long beard, and I've had long hair now most of my life. And I've even had a beard most of my life. But I just thought, you know, I should do it at some point, but maybe I'll do it when I'm 44, because 44 is a nicer number than 43. And I did it for 23, which I have an attachment to, and 33, which I have an attachment to. I like both of those numbers. 23 used to be a magical number for me, and 33 is a magical number. And I thought, well, 44 is a better number, so maybe I'll just cut my hair and beard when I'm 44. Or maybe I'll wait till I'm 45 and then do it in every 9-year cycles, because I like 9-year cycles. But also, one of the fantasies I had last time I cut my hair off was it takes me about 3 years to get long hair again. So I thought, what if I grow my hair out long and then shave it after 3 years, and then grow it out long, and then shave it after 3 years, and then maybe do that 3 times, and then I could get some wig maker to make me a wig. And then when I'm older, I can wear a wig of my younger hair, and I'd be like Phil Spector, and it'd be terrifying. But I just thought it might be fun. Ideas. I have so many ideas. We all have ideas. But I did not end up doing that. And this last year's been really stressful for everybody. If you've been alive, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't remember if it was February or March, but sometime in February or March, I started feeling like, man, I have got to cut my hair. I can't stand this. It just became this weird, this feels intolerable. I want to shave it right now. And I was like, okay, so you're so close to your 43rd birthday, which is a 10-year cycle. You should just wait. And literally the last 2 or 3 months, I've just been like, oh my God, I just want to shave my head and shave my face. I want to shave my head and shave my face. I hate it. So I decided I was just going to do it, but I wanted to wait until my birthday. And the last couple of years have been an experiment or a reconnection or whatever. I'm going to talk about these things more. I'm doing a birthday project this year, which I haven't done for a few years. So I have a few different things I'm going to talk about. Because even though I'm very long-winded here, this video is coming to an end. So anyway, I've been spending a lot of time with family in recent years, which is not something I have done most of my adult life. So I thought, well, this would be really nice if I get my family to shave my head, my family to help me do this process. And we had planned to get together with my brother, I guess for Memorial Day. I never really think about those holidays, but the national holidays. But yeah, I planned to get together with my family for his birthday, and I thought, oh, I'll have my niece and nephew shave my head. But I liked the idea of braiding the hair so that I could save it in case I did want to make a wig out of it, or necklaces, or even donate it or something. So I'm recording this audio on June 1st, but the head shaving happened on May 30th, I think. Because we were up in Michigan at my brother's house, and I had my niece and mother. My sister was supposed to, but she was in the shower. So my niece and my mother braided my hair, and I braided one braid. And then my sister started shaving my hair, teaching the kids how to do it. And then both of the older niece and nephew, because there's a younger one that's like 4 years, almost, she's 3.5, so she's not supposed to cut my hair yet. But they shaved my head for a bit. I shaved my head for a little bit. And my brother did the cleanup work, as you can see right now. And I don't know if it was 2 weeks. I think it was 2 weeks before the head shaving, I started trimming my beard. So I braided the beard and cut it off and had a short beard for a few days, and then shaved it into a horseshoe mustache, which I've always found very sexy. And trouble. Horseshoe mustaches, they denote men who are trouble, but sexy men who are trouble. And then shaved my face and let it be stubbly for a few days, and then used a razor shave. And it's weird. I've only ever had long hair and a shaved face a couple times in my life, when I was 14 and didn't really have a beard. Then when I was, what would that be, 22? When I went to South Africa, the guy that I went to go visit in South Africa, he had known me with shaved face, so he wanted me to shave my face before I came to South Africa. So I had long hair and a shaved face for that. And although I had planned to do it when I was 33, I hadn't done it. And I was telling my family that I had always been kind of against men with long hair and shaved faces because of Fabio or something. I mean, there's a longer discussion about that, and I'm running out of time here, so I'll talk about that in another either writing or video thing. But I had about a week with a shaved face before cutting my hair off, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. So I razor shaved right before going up to Michigan, and then we did this haircut thing, and now I'm going to commit to spending the next, 45 days. I'm turning 43 this year, today. I'm going to spend the next 45 days or so of this secondary progression period editing, writing for 4 hours every day, and publishing something, if not every day, every few days. Pictures and writings and videos and whatever. But I thought this would be a fun project, so I want to thank my family and, of course, everybody who's interested in seeing me with this version of my face at 43. Love you all. Happy birthday to me.